This is the Barbados Today morning news for Friday, March 17. Thank you for joining us. I am Mary Claire Williams. The threat of legal action remains over the controversial Hyatt-centric development, and attorney at law and social activist David Comissiong is preparing to make good on his promise to mount a legal challenge against the construction of the 15-story property. He told Barbados Today that he plans to file the lawsuit by early next week in a quest to halt the $100 million development.
No mature, modern country would permit this type of project without requiring an environmental impact assessment.
Okay.
And, so these are very weighty principles. These are very weighty principles that I am prepared to stand up for.
Okay.
I, as a citizen of Barbados, a citizen of Barbados, if it's me alone, I'm prepared to stand up for these principles, even if I have to do it alone.
The National Trust is also opposing the project, arguing that it will have serious environmental consequences. In other news this morning, a Chancery Lane North couple is challenging an account from Environment Minister Dr. Denis Lowe that his private residence was recently defaced by a sign filled with profanities, bearing the words "fed up." In his contribution to the debate on estimates of revenue and expenditure on Wednesday, Lowe linked the sign to last Saturday's march by the opposition, which used the slogan, "Step up if you're fed up." He told the lower house he is prepared to defend his property and person if he perceives that either was under threat. But retired returning nationals Michael and Barbara Bryan claimed responsibility for placing the sign, and they told Barbados Today that Lowe's version of the story is untrue.
I did write a sign that said "Fed Up." It had nothing to do with the march, with the recent marches, or we don't have a political affiliation to either party. We just want something done. I didn't put the note there anonymously. It was not huge. Mr. Lowe took this as I signed the note and gave our address, asking him to please come and see me. I even left a note at the constituency office as well and spoke to the woman there. I expected him to come and see us and maybe do something about this, but it wasn't taken. Instead, he used it as a grandstanding issue in Parliament, saying that it was because of, and he would take any steps necessary to protect his property because I trespassed, or someone trespassed on his property, and he knew who it was. It was me. He knew what the issue was. It had nothing to do with political issues. It had nothing to do with political party being for or against. It's just frustration.
MP for St. Andrew, George Payne, is criticizing government's decision to allow a leading fast food chain to set up shop in Lancaster, St. James. Payne told Parliament that the land was originally earmarked for the relocation of residents of White Hill, St. Andrew, whose homes were in danger due to land slippage. He said the decision to approve a commercial development instead will go down as one of the worst decisions taken by the Frundle-Stewart administration.
I cannot believe that a cabinet would sit down and allow a transaction like that to go through. I cannot believe it. It is outrageous. It is one of the worst things that I've ever seen in governance in this country. And when you look at it, Mr. Speaker, even if all of those things were done, even if you had come back to Parliament, I know if it had come back to Parliament, it would not pass. But let's assume that it had passed. There are certain provisions that you would have had to make with respect to traffic management in the area. You have people in that area making applications to improve their house in an upstairs house. We call it upstairs, not two-story, as you know. And they cannot get permission. Sheffield has now come and got permission for a 3-story building. In an area where there will be serious traffic management problems. Yeah. There are no environmental impact assessment, nothing like that. Nobody knew until I am the parliamentary representative. The Minister of Housing did not even have the decency. To consult with me.
The owners of privately owned public service vehicles are hitting back at the president of the Road Safety Association, Charmaine Roland Bowen, over her claims that taxi drivers have been driving under the influence of alcohol. President of the Alliance and Owners of Public Transport, Roy Raphael, is challenging Roland Bowen to bring the evidence.
We are also calling on the Ministry of Education to recruit patrol guards that will ride on these buses from time to time to assist in law and order on these vehicles.
Raphael is also expressing concern over the frequent fights by school children on board transport board buses, resulting in drivers feeling threatened, and he fears that this could spread to ZRs and minibuses.
It can spread to our people, particularly if government looks at removing the free bus fare concession that goes to school children. We believe that we can end up where we were back some 10 years ago, where a lot of school children used to ride on our PSVs, but the ridership is not as wide. And we are happy that some of the violence is not targeted towards us, but it concerns us generally as a body.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Read all about it, read all about it. Get your paper, only $2.25, let's get your paper.
You again with that stale news from yesterday. I got the Barbados Today app on my phone, and I just get my news for free. What do she?
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
We're back now with news from the region, and we go to Jamaica, where opposition leader Portia Simpson Miller made her final contribution to the budget debate in her capacity as opposition leader on Thursday. Simpson Miller added her voice to calls for the government to reverse the $13.5 billion tax package presented by the Finance Minister Audley Shaw. She charged that it was taxparity gone wild and accused government of taxing group health insurance, fuel and other items after promising there would be no new taxes. Simpson Miller also reflected on her legacy, saying the moment was bittersweet. Members of both sides of the House paid tribute to her as she bade farewell. Simpson Miller will step down as opposition leader on April 2nd and will be succeeded by Dr. Peter Phillips. On the international scene, U.S. President Donald Trump is pledging to appeal to the Supreme Court if necessary to fight for his revised travel ban. However, political observers say the legal challenge may be an uphill task as there are lawsuits in federal courts in Hawaii and Maryland, as well as Washington, where a judge is expected to rule soon on another challenge to the ban. The Justice Department may likely file an appeal in either or both cases in the coming days. Judge Derek Watson granted a temporary restraining order in Hawaii on Wednesday, saying that a reasonable objective observer would conclude that the executive order was issued to disfavor a particular religion. And that's news this morning. Remember, you can get more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Or you can tune into Channel 99 on Flow TV or Mix 96.9 FM for more news. I am Mary Claire Williams. Have a good morning.